So the men's 200-meter semi-finalists are out on the track for the first of three semi-finals. Looking here at this new sensation from Israel, Blessing Afrifa, won the World Under-20 title in a European Under-20 record. But it's two to go through as of right, and two fastest non-automatic qualifiers. And there's a German in here, Joshua Hartmann. Inevitably that's going to lead to huge roars from this crowd, and their spirits certainly haven't been dampened despite a slight delay to the competition program. You can see there, this is a big crowd this evening. They've come to see Malalaika Mihambo, the defending European champion, in action a little bit later on. Mihambo, of course, one of the real stars of world athletics, not just European or German athletics. Mihambo, Olympic champion, world champion, European champion. Here's Zharnel Hughes. Well, Hughes got the silver medal in that terrific 100-meter battle 2 nights ago. So these men have been able to keep dry in the bowels of this stadium. Well, the 200 meters turn the clock back to 1972. Not long after this stadium was built, and it was the great Soviet and Ukrainian sprinter Valery Bortsov who really christened this track in many respects, completing the second half of his sprint double, which wrote him into the Olympic legends. So we're ready now to get underway. In the outside, it's Italy's Esarosa Desalu, fastest man in the heats this morning at 20:46. And there you can see lots of very, very keen Italian fans. They're also here to see Filippo Tortu in one of the later heats. We're missing Simon Hansen in lane 6, so we switch to lane 7. Lane 6 is Joshua Hartmann, part of Germany's gold medal winning 4x1 team at last year's European Under-23 Championships. Now Zharnel Hughes. Hughes has run at 2012, has a lifetime best of 20:02. He's going searching for that sub-20 clocking. Blessing Afrifa, just 18 years of age and winning in Cali just a couple of weeks ago. He ran a European Under-20 record of 1996, and into the bargain an Israeli record as well. Mamadou Fall, 5th in the 100 meters final on Tuesday. A very good Frenchman. Also has reduced his personal best this year to 20:26. Inside him, in lane 2, the Czech record holder, Jan Jurka. It's a lifetime best of 20:45 to his name. Not quite as quick this year. Had to come through the first round this morning. And on the inside, it's the reigning Polish champion, 20-year-old Łukasz Zok. So with 2 to go through, you have to be looking at lanes 4 and 5, Afrifa and Hughes. Fall could get up there as well. So as they settle down from the inside, Zok of Poland, Zurka Czech Republic, Fall of France, Afrifa of Israel, Hughes of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Hartmann of Germany, and out in lanes 8, Desalu of Italy. The first semi-final of the men's 200 meters.
Set.
Well, it's Hughes who's away the quickest at the moment. Afrifa slightly caught in his blocks, also running well at the moment. is Hartmann, but now a Freefer starting to power down the home straight. But the long legs of Hughes moving him forward. A Freefer, ragged technique, and Hartmann caught the Israeli on the line, but there's no doubt at all about the winner. Zharnel Hughes carrying over his form from the 100 metres final 2 nights ago, looking very sharp indeed. He was out quickly and then just stretched his lead down the home straight. Hartmann came through so strongly over the final 50 metres as a Freefer tired. I'm just wondering whether that long trip to Colombia backwards and forwards is still in his legs. 2019 to Hughes, Hartmann personal best of 20:33. They're through to tomorrow's final. A Freefer at 20:34 and Desalu at 20:48. We'll have to wait and see whether they get through as the fastest non-automatic qualifiers.
Great run of Hartmann, and you could see what that lifetime best meant to the German athlete. But a Freefer there for me, just showing a bit of lack of experience. He eased up before the line. He didn't see the need to go along with Zharnel Hughes. You can see a Freefer there with that blue number on, indicating he is the the European lead. But for me, Zharnel Hughes just ran a very relaxed bend and then lifted and brought a bit more speed into the straight. A Freefer ran a great bend. He converted that fantastically well into the straight, as did Hartmann. Is at this point now where Zharnel Hughes of Great Britain and Northern Ireland just got into his running and stretched away from the rest of the field. And a Freefer for me, he didn't dip, he didn't run through the line. And instead, Joshua Hartmann did. He executed the race a full 200 metres. He could see that a Freefer was still there. And he's dipped across the line for that second automatic qualifying time. 20.33 the time for the German, 20.34 isn't massively fast. That wouldn't put you in the top 8 kind of European times for the season. Of course, athletes have got to come here and produce it this evening in Munich. It's a bit wet. It's not perfect sprinting conditions, but hats off to Joshua Hartmann for getting the job done.
Yes, it's a bit wet and it's cooling out there. Confirmation of the times as we talked about. A Freefer, still a very raw talent. Some of his technique, I think, down the home straight will have his coach scratching his head. He'll be looking back at him and just perhaps giving him a bit of advice. Maybe just giving him a few drills just to try and get him back into the groove that he had in Colombia at the World Under-20 Championships.
Be right, Phil. We've talked about the senior athletes and some of them having 3 championships, but Cali, Colombia is a long way from Munich in Germany. And for the Israeli athlete, that's a busy old summer already, and beating Letzer Tobogo in that 200-metre final was super impressive, dipping underneath 20 seconds. It's no surprise that perhaps a Freefer is a little bit sluggish, a little bit tired. I kind of hope he gets away with that. I hope he learns from it, but still gets the opportunity to compete in the final, because I think he deserves that. He's the European lead. It would be a massive shame not to see Blessing a Freefer in the final. But nonetheless, a lot of our athletes here are just gaining massive experience alongside trying to represent their country as well as they possibly can.
Well, the crowds are coming back from under the roofs. The rain has abated. A bit later on, we'll have confirmation of the start times for the men's high jump. I think the women long jumpers are going to come out in fairly short order. We saw them in the call room. The men's hammer, of course, a little bit dangerous with a wet circle. I think they're going to try and dry that circle out a bit more. I can see the men's high jumpers have just come out in the last couple of minutes and are just testing out the mat. They have covering on it, so hopefully the mat isn't going to be too wet. It's going to be the women's long jumpers. There's no safety issues, but it's not very pleasant at all, as you were saying, jumping into very wet, sodden sand.
No. Wet sand, I mean, it's never mind the actual feel of it. It's not very pleasant. It's going to be cold. That's going to affect the muscles and the kit as well when you're landing in wet sand and you get a bit soggy, but it also makes it quite hard, and that can be painful as well. We haven't seen many of the athletes out in their warm-up kit on the track. Usually they're down here already in their shorts and vests, but the officials quite rightly allowing the athletes to keep their clothes on. And well, I thought Tentoglu might have the award for biggest flag, but if that gets handed to someone like Gianmarco Tamberi, that Italian flag might win the title of biggest flag for a medalist.
Wondering whether there are people sitting underneath those seats there. They're trying to keep themselves warm, but not so. Put all of that He's got his cap again, which seems strange when he was wearing it in hot weather, but it is a good luck charm. He wore it in training, felt like he was running faster, running better, and as a result, he's kept it in competition. But it did seem more unusual, both in Tallinn at the Under-23s last year and in the really hot weather. He did just squeeze through, though, so he's continued to wear it.
Camo just giving Charlie Dobson a bit of attention there. He did dip under 20 seconds in America at the start of the year, but it was wind aided. I love the superstitions of various athletes. Kuroda choosing to wear his hat. I mean, that's a pretty controllable one, you know, not like some of the other elements that athletes try and control and rely on. Kuroda can always remember to pack his cap. 20.77 this morning wearing it. Lane 7 will be Diego Petrolossi of Italy. He was second in Heat 3 this morning. He's a national champion. He's enjoying the atmosphere here in Munich. Plenty of fans in this morning. Ramil Guliev of Turkey has the gold number on of reigning champion. He did a championship record back in Berlin 4 years ago, 1976. Lane 5 will be Niva Zizi of France. 10:21 in the semi-final of the 100, entered at that stage, so he's just on the one race here in Munich. Back for more here in the men's 200. Charlie Dobson, Great Britain and Northern Ireland, goes in lane 4. It'll be useful when we look towards the 4x4 relay. He's done a 45.1 and a 20.19 legal 200-metre time this season. Owen Anser of Germany is in lane 3, still just 21 years old. He made the semi-final in the 100. Thanking the crowd for their support. Ferdinandas Trukauskas of Lithuania is in lane 2. I don't see many Lithuanians here. They have a couple throughout the championships. Daniel Rodriguez of Spain goes on the tight inside lane. Won the Spanish national championships and he did 20.8 this morning. But when the ground's a little bit wet, lane 1 might be even more problematic than it can be. Not the favourite of sprinters at all. They seem to prefer 4, 5, 6, do a lot of their training in 5 and 6 just to save the joints on those gentler bends on the outside lanes. Free and Desalu watching on all their times stand through this semi-final. This is the second semi-final. Top 2 automatically qualify through to the final. Guliev of Turkey has the fastest personal best. He's not quite the form he was in 2017, 2018, and he's struggling ever so slightly to live with Zizi of France. And Charlie Dobson just put in a big kick with 100 metres to go. Charlie Dobson of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, at the moment miles ahead of the field. Can he relax over the line? Yes, what a dip from Guliev of Turkey, showing why he's the defending champion. Guliev quite smartly, quite maturely running all the way to the line there, denying everyone else of an automatic qualifying spot. Charlie Dobson, though, that was a deceptive bend. He looked pretty relaxed and then used the slingshot of the bend to power himself into the straight and stride away from the rest of a pretty quality field, including that defending champion.
Yes, impressive when you consider that an athlete with basically no international senior experience comes straight into the semi-final. It looked like he was actually a bit nervous just observing his facial expression on the start line, but breaking into a smile there, running 20.21. And sometimes when an athlete has a big improvement, you just wonder whether they'll live up to that, whether they'll match that on the big stage. And in this semi-final, that's really impressive because his lifetime best 20.19, just outside the top 10 on the British all-time list, and going very close to that. Looked like he was starting to fade a little down the home straight, and you expected the other athletes to chase and to arrive right on his shoulder, but didn't quite. Ramil Guliev, I wonder whether he has more to come. And obviously some athletes, although they'll be grateful to go straight into the semi-final, there's less chance to build momentum through the rounds. Ramil Guliev, let's have a look here. He does just get that second spot, qualifying after his wife progressed earlier this morning.
Busy day for their household. And Zizi's 10.47, unseated, literally, and figuratively, De Salou of Italy, he won't be in a non-automatic qualifying spot or the hot seat. Free-for survives another round. Just 2 non-automatic qualifying spots, Zizi and a free-for. To wait that Guliev is catching up on that, the lactic, taking a moment. I'm sure if he's got some interviews to do through the mix zone, he'd rather be coherent. One more semi-final left to go in the men's 200. We've had a slight delay to the start of the programme because of this wet weather. And one of the events that's been pushed back a tiny bit is this men's hammer throw final, just to make sure the circle is safe and dry. The officials have been out there, the athletes have been warming up, and they're ready to go. Hilmar Jonsson of Iceland is the first to be introduced to the crowd. The 3rd place at NCAs a few years ago, didn't make the final in Eugene, but he has here in Munich. Cienfuegos of Spain is up next. Proud Spanish representative. I love it when they thump their chest like that. He did well to make this final, very solid in qualification. Ragnar Karlsson of Sweden will throw 9th. He's been introduced 3rd. Harsh, perhaps. I think he got a bronze medal at the European Throws Championship back in March. That was a great performance for the Swedish athlete. So a new personal best of 77 metres this season. And I did kind of get a feeling anyone that gets it right here in this hammer throw final could snatch the bronze medal. Christos Frandasakis of Greece is a really consistent performer. He's only 22 years old. Every time he turns up, it seems very solid to me. And that could be just the platform he needs to build on if he wants to get his first senior medal. Sergei Markev of Moldova has been 10th at the Olympic Games twice. Holds the Moldovan national record, 72 centimetres. Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Nick Miller is next to the gate. Double Commonwealth Games champion, retained that title in Birmingham a few weeks ago. 11th at the World Championships, holds the national record back from 2018. This is Quentin Bigot of France, silver medal at the 2019 World Championships, loads of top 5s, and he actually put on social media he was very happy with his 4th place at the World Championships, through a personal best over 80 metres. And he said there's sort of an assumption that 4th is disappointing, and actually he thought it was a very good showing. Ivan Henriksson of Norway is up next. He picked up a silver medal in Tokyo last year and a bronze at the World Championships despite atrial fibrillation. Not quite up to date on my medical terms, sort of heart arrhythmia. And he checked his smartwatch during the championships and really felt something was wrong. Went straight off to the hospital, but he said he's here and he's fit and he's happy to throw. Bent Hals is next. New personal best to come 5th at the World Championships. He looked good in qualification. Got a bronze medal in the 2019 World Championships, and certainly one of the athletes that could get the bronze medal. Mikhailo Kokkan of Ukraine was 4th at the Tokyo Olympic Games at the age of 20, 7th at the World Championships last month. He's done a decent 78.83 this season. And then we're on to the 2 big hitters. I've been talking about the bronze medal because surely the gold is going to Poland. Paweł Fidek accepts the applause of the crowd. He became a 5-time world champion in Eugene. But he doesn't have the European title at the moment. That is with this man. Wojciech Nowicki is the Olympic champion and the defending European champion. He did have the world lead until we made our way over to Oregon. Can he regain the title he won here in Berlin? All 3 medalists back to have another go. Nowicki, Fidek, Bent Hallers was your podium 4 years ago in Berlin.
So, the last of 3 semi-finals of the men's 200 metres. There is Nathaniel Mitchell-Blake, a medalist 4 years ago in Berlin, behind Ramil Guliev. Jan Volko, 4th in the 100 metres. That's perhaps his better of the 2 sprints. Also a 60 specialist, 3 times European indoor medalist. One of Slovakia's biggest hopes at these championships. Once again, he's seated on the outside, but a deja vu compared to heat, which he's progressed through from, as has Tamir Burnett, who moves one in. Impressive earlier on. His lifetime best is 20:34, goes back to Doha 2019. Paul Retamal, well, Spain won this title in 2016 with Bruno Hortelano. His PB is from Nerva in southern Spain in June 2028. Filippo Tortu, the first Italian to break 10 seconds for 100 metres, 9:99. Pietro Menea's long-standing record. It's 1972 over 200 and remains since 1979. Nathaniel Mitchell-Blake, 20.05 this year, a 10th off his best ever. Got the 4x1 gold alongside his individual silver last time out in Berlin 4 years ago. Ryan Zeze of France, European under-23 bronze medalist in 2019. We saw Meba Mikel Zeze before. William Race, decent name that for a sprinter, isn't it? Or for any track athlete. And he is the under-23 European reigning champion from last year in Tallinn. Patrick Vikrota of Poland will go on the inside. Now he's improved this year from 2094 to 2067.
On your mark.
So one Zeze competing and the other looks on. You can see the middle lanes, no qualification time. That's because they have come straight through to these semi-finals. Free for the other athlete watching on, the 18-year-old from Israel. So Vikrota, Race, Zeze, Mitchell-Blake, Tortu, Retamal, Burnett and Volko. The third semi-final of the men's 200 metres. So top two automatic spots. How will they be filled? Tortu going well, Mitchell-Blake on his inside. Hoping to join Dobson as a heat winner from a moment ago. Zeze also chasing in the white and navy of France. Tortu now starting to come through with Mitchell-Blake. Volko nice on the outside, but Tortu takes it from Nathaniel Mitchell-Blake in 20.29. The wind, as it has pretty much throughout these championships, remaining pretty still, and hopefully, if it is a bit better conditions in the final, that will bode well for some fast wind legal times. It also bodes well for Afrifa and Zeze, just waiting on those times though, but Tortu and Mitchell-Blake are through.
Well, Afrifa knows that he got through once he saw Mitchell-Blake's time come up. Retamal takes the second non-automatic qualifier with that blistering last 30 metres that takes him through to third place. But it was an outstanding performance from Tortu, who we basically associate with being a 100-metre runner. We haven't seen too many times when he's actually come to a championship and raced over 200 metres, of course famed for taking the Italians home to gold at the Olympics. Mitchell-Blake makes it 3 Britons in the final, and the last time there wasn't a Briton on the podium in the 200 metres was back in 1994. So Britain, a great tradition in the 200 metres at the European Championships. Race, well, he'll have to think about what he can do in the future. His race has run 4 today.
I'd like to do an honourable mention for Volko. All 3 rounds of the 100 metres, finishing up in 4th place. Had to do the opening round here in the 100 and has come through in a season's best. Couldn't automatically qualify. That award went to the men in the middle, Mitchell-Blake and Tortu.
As you can see on the replay, Mitchell-Blake having an excellent start. So too Ryan Zeze, the younger brother of Meba Michael Zeze, but then Tortu starts to pull away. At this stage it looked as though Retamal was going to get up there, but then that final surge from Mitchell-Blake, silver medalist 4 years ago in Berlin, and he's looking as though once again he's going to contest the medals on German soil. Tortu though, I think there's still plenty more to come. European record is still in Italian hands at 1972, dating back from 1979. record that stood 43 years. Yes, it was actually set in the altitude-assisted climate of Mexico City, but it's still a formidable mark when you consider how many people have tried to attack it. Phalanx of Britons, Huliev, perhaps here. I have my doubts, but nevertheless, it's going to be a thrilling final.
Yeah, 3 British athletes in it. Filippo Tortu, who was the Italian Sportsperson of the Year when he broke the 100 national record back in 2018, and that's no mean feat, really. The likes of Stefan